Hello, my name is Gord Cooke, and I'm really pleased to be here in the mechanical room at the model home for Watercolour Westport by Landark Homes. This is a really exciting opportunity for me to give you a whirlwind tour of the mechanical systems, the systems that help ensure your house is healthy, safe, comfortable, durable, and incredibly energy efficient. And let's start with the heating and cooling system. And in fact, let's start with the fact that this today is acting like it's a cooling system, like a traditional air conditioner, through the magic of refrigerant lines, extracting heat from the house and pushing it to the outside, to that outdoor unit, cooling your home at a really nice efficiency. But this is not just a traditional air conditioner. This is a heat pump. This is a device that's able to reverse itself in the wintertime through the same refrigerant lines, is able to extract heat from outside and bring it into the house. Make Westport colder while it makes your house warmer. It's called a heat pump. They're 300% efficient. That is, for every unit of energy that's used to run the pump, to run the fans, you get $3 to $4 worth of energy back into your home. Incredibly energy efficient, and run electrically, so we don't need gas lines, we don't need combustion venting, don't need carbon monoxide detectors in our houses. It's the new best way to heat houses, only possible, of course, in really high performance energy efficient houses. Let's turn our attention quickly to filtration. Down at the bottom of the unit, you'll see a filter slot. In that filter slot is a really nice 4-inch wide filter system, MERV 11. MERV is a rating for the performance of how well a filter removes particulates. This filter has the potential to remove up to 80% of really fine particulates like pollens and dust and so on. Even wood smoke is really powerful. And it's in this really nice 4-inch format, which means it has lots of surface area, means it lasts longer. You don't have to worry about replacing it nearly as often. So that is the only duty you have really with this system in terms of maintenance, is every 6 months or so changing the filter. Let's move on though to think about how we're going to distribute that heated and cooled and filtered air to the house. This house, because it's so efficient, is able to take advantage of what's called a home run flexible duct system. That is, each individual run that moves air to the house comes from this central plenum, which means you have much better accuracy in terms of the heating and cooling loads to each house. Fewer cold spots, hot spots are those, and really no low noise levels. The ductwork is whisper quiet. It's incredibly airtight. It's a really nice plug and play system. It's very easy to install, and all the ductwork ends up being hidden in the floor joist cavities, so you have less headroom issues down in the beautiful basement of these houses. So a distribution system. Notice too, up behind me, the green colored ducts. That's distributing the ventilation air, extracting air from the house and bringing in new fresh air. And we're also distributing heated, cooled, filtered air as well. So that's our distribution system. Let's move now to what we're going to call the lungs of the house. Think about fresh air. In the past, we used to rely on people opening windows, but of course, we've kind of stopped opening windows, right? We're worried about noise and dust and security and energy costs. So now we need to understand, if your windows are going to be closed, what if I want fresh air in my home? And this device does exactly that. It removes just the right amount of stale, stinky air and brings in new, fresh, filtered air. The air from outside, filtered once through this box, and then gets distributed back into the heating cooling system to go through that big wide 4-inch filter that I saw. So this is giving you a consistent level of ventilation, so your family's breathing the healthiest possible air, a little bit of fresh air in just the right quantity to ensure proper moisture control, proper odor control in your house. And here I want to show you the heat pump water heater for this house. This may look like a traditional electric water heater, but in fact it's technically called a heat pump water heater. It is run electrically, but in this case it's taking the waste heat from the air in your home, it's extracting heat from that air, putting that air back to the house, and using that waste heat to heat your hot water. Incredible recovery times, but in this case 300% efficient. Much like the air source heat pump we showed you for heating the home, this For every unit of energy that you purchase or generate, you get 3 units of energy into your hot water. So incredible energy efficiency that's really applicable in these high performance energy efficient houses. And notice, no gas lines, no gas vent, no fossil fuels in this house. It's just supportive of that concept of let's get to houses that don't rely on fossil fuels, and that reduces our greenhouse gas emissions. Next, I want to show you the dehumidifier that Watercolour brings into this house. They recognize, as we all do, that all basements in Canada need humidity control. And it's important, specifically in the first year of construction, a lot of moisture in concrete, the soil surrounding the house. So having a dehumidifier as part of your operation is really, really important. Setting this to 50 to 55% relative humidity, extracting that moisture, really means the world in terms of air quality control. I'll say again, all basements in Canada need a dehumidifier. Really good of Watercolour to provide that as part of their housing mechanical package, so you have control over the quality of the air in the basement and avoiding that musty, damp smell that you often smell in older basements. So I really applaud Watercolour for that. Let's next move you over to the perhaps one of the more exciting features. This house is truly a net zero house. That is, there's solar panels on the roof that are generating electricity. In fact, generating enough electricity to offset all of the energy use for this house over the course of the year. That's what the definition of net zero. This is what's called the gateway, that takes the electricity that's generated on the roof in DC current and conditions it, inverts it to where it can be input into the electrical panel. So that's part of the solar system that's on this house. That electricity actually goes into what's called a new panel called a Savant electrical panel. That is, this is a new load management tool. You think about energy use, how intermittent it is, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. What if we could flatten out some of that electrical use? This is the newest, latest technology where all the critical circuits, such as the electric vehicle plug, the refrigerator, the heat pump systems, the water heating system, are all able to be controlled and monitored, so you're getting full readout on a regular basis as to where the energy is going, and I can start to plan out and manage that electrical load to reduce my peaks and really take best advantage of the solar. When would I want that solar run? This whole system is actually supported by a battery backup in this house that has 13 kilowatt hours of available electricity if the power goes out, that I'm able to support and still keep the house running, the critical services. That, of course, we're all familiar with the traditional electrical panel. This house incorporates a true 200 amp total capacity, and you may wonder, is that enough for a house like this? But remind yourself that this house has incredibly efficient windows, incredibly efficient walls, incredibly efficient mechanical equipment, those heat pumps that are 300% efficient. So 200 amp service is more than enough to run this house, and especially when we know we've got the power management of the Savant and the gateway and the battery backup. The panel is also a good place to recognize the quality assurance program that Watercolour has subscribed to. So first and foremost, this house is Energy Star qualified. That is, it's gone through a very rigorous quality assurance procedure program that ensures this house is 20% better than a regular code built house. We see that as kind of a base level. More exciting, of course, is the CHBA, Canadian Home Builder Association, Net Zero label. This label guarantees that the house has been designed, modeled, and constructed to only consume as much energy as it's able to produce itself on site by the solar panels. Isn't that kind of cool? That this label shows the quality assurance that went in the testing to ensure that you get a house that's healthier, safer, more comfortable, more durable, and now you find that it has, over the course of the year, only uses as much energy as it's able to consume on site. So some really good mechanical choices by Watercolour here in this seemingly simple room. 5 or 6 technologies that really enhance the performance of these houses.